What I've learned is to never be afraid about being a beginner. Hi, I'm Lin. I am head of launches in Nas Academy. I started out as head of curriculum here. 2 months ago, I became the head of launches, but 4 years ago, I was a teacher in a tuition center in Singapore. Today, I'm going to teach you 3 pieces of advice for anyone who wants to pivot into tech. Number 1, for any educator that wants to pivot into tech, we have to understand that the best teachers are the best learners. So I had to learn everything from scratch. I had to presume that I knew nothing. Whatever my boss wanted me to learn, I learned Python, I learned Agile, I learned the waterfall method. When I first came into tech, people kept using the word APIs. What are APIs? I have no background in that, right? I literally had to ask the stupidest questions right from the bottom. And I think what I learned was to not be ashamed to start again and ask these questions. Number 2, find a sponsor or a mentor. The truth is, the tech industry is extremely hard to get into. If you don't know people, if you cold apply, many LinkedIn jobs have like thousands and thousands of applicants. It is almost impossible for you to get in if you do not have a relevant CV. However, if you have a friend, a family member, I don't know, your cousin that works in tech, it would be great to either 1, have a conversation with them, or 2, just ask them out for lunch and ask them for help. You would be so surprised at the amount of people that are willing to help you pivot. And I had that in the form of my friend Shamin. Never underestimate the power of connections and finding a sponsor. Number 3, have money conversations. Before you even step into the interview room, ask people in the industry how much they get paid. I know it sounds like a very crude conversation, but I wish I did this. I wish I knew my number. Now that I'm in, if I only knew my number, I would have started at a much higher level. If you actually ask people in the industry how much tech pays as compared to an educational job, you'd be so surprised at the discrepancy. That is my 1 piece of advice. When you pivot, before you pivot, go ask people in the industry, ask them, how much are you paid? How much are your junior staff paid? Before quoting a number. And don't be afraid to quote that number. When I was a teacher, I used to teach people about the Syrian refugee crisis or like the Yemen civil war. And I always wondered, like, why am I in this classroom with super privileged kids that actually don't need my teaching? Mind you, I taught in a tuition center, which means that I actually taught them after school. So they already had world-class Singaporean education, right? And I wondered about that for a very long time. But in Nas Academy, I, through my curriculum, get to teach someone who left Beirut after the Beirut blasts. And I get to teach a teacher in Thailand so he can teach his kids about discrimination. I get to teach like people in Nigeria how to seek a pay rise. I get to teach a Filipino that wants to get out of their country and work in an international firm. Like, I get to teach people from all over the world that really, really need this education.